Hey everyone, thanks for listening to the Sergio Nazzaro podcast. I'm Sergio Nazzaro, the founder and CEO of, my life. I've grown up here in Colorado and I've decided to stay put as I continue to pursue being an entrepreneur and growing my business as a real estate agent. Prior to this, I graduated from the United States Air Force Academy and served my country for 11 years before becoming a CrossFit coach. I have a lovely wife, Lizzie, and we are in the process of growing our family and living here in the Sloan's Lake neighborhood. For the last 2 years, I've committed to documenting my process in both my personal and professional life as a means of journaling, and hopefully helping others along the way. So listen in as I share the next chapter of my story. All right, welcome back. This is my second solo podcast, and I'm doing this on Thursday morning because I'm leaving for Jackson Hole here in a few hours for a bachelor party. And I knew that on Sunday morning when I got back, I was probably going to feel like a complete bag of shit. So I decided to do it now. And the reason I did that is, I made a commitment to myself to launch this podcast. And it's really easy to fall off that commitment in the very beginning. And I know that on Sunday when I get back, I'm not going to feel well. So why wouldn't I do it today? And so I think that's kind of like the first thing I really wanted to chat with you guys about. It's your principles versus your feelings. Like the principle for me is the commitment I made to myself. I don't always feel like doing something. I don't always want to go work out. I don't always want to wake up and do a podcast like this, but I made that commitment to myself. And it's something that, once I promise myself I'm going to do something, I stick to it. And I think, this has been a real critical part of my life. Is following your principles and not your feelings, because inevitably feelings are kind of like the wind. They change on an instant. They change throughout the day, right? We can start the day feeling super angry and finish the day on a super high note. And I think it's really important that we recognize that feelings are fleeting and that we don't just, follow those as the reasons we make decisions. I think we come back to our principles, because at the end of feelings, it's empty, but at the end of a principle, there is a level of commitment. And so I've really tried to implement this in a lot of areas of my life, in my physical fitness and my health, right? I've made a commitment to eat healthy. I've made a commitment to work out on a regular basis. I've made a commitment to track, my health markers with my official sponsor, Whoop. They don't know I'm going to say that, and they're not a sponsor, but, I've made a commitment. And by developing those principles, I've been able to live a lifestyle that I'm proud of. Got a hair in my mouth. I've been able to live a lifestyle that I know is one that is in the pursuit of my highest self. And I think it's really cool to be able to have those principles, because inevitably we feel, like I said, different things throughout the day. And if we let those justify our decisions, very rarely are we going to make the hard ones. And I think that's kind of led into the last, couple of weeks. Summer in real estate is by far our busiest season. I would say it starts to get busy, late February, and it runs hot, like super hot, until about mid-July. There's this natural, cyclical, seasonal slowdown in the middle of the summer. And that's because people are going on vacation, right? People are enjoying their summer. People are spending time with their kids. And so, yes, summer is a busy time for real estate. But at the same time, there is this little lull. However, when it's hot and that pan is hot and you're just throwing the meat in and you're cooking it, right? Like, you can get burnt out. And inevitably, I like to operate at a high level, and I feel grateful for that. But because of that, I get tired. And so for the last few weeks, I haven't really wanted to push as hard and work as hard. I almost felt like I was in a little bit of a slump. And I believe that it's in those times when we focus on what our commitments to ourselves, that principle, it helps us not only get out of the slump because we're doing the work that we promised ourselves to do. We're doing the work that we know that counts. But it also makes sure that, it pulls us out of that slump and it gets us back to a spot that's a little more at equilibrium. And what I mean by that is it allows us to get back to a spot where we feel like we can operate at our best. I personally find that when I'm completely out of whack, it's because I'm not spending enough time on me. I'm not spending enough time on my relationships. I'm not spending enough time having fun. And so 2020 was way out of whack. Like, you want to talk about the pendulum swing to the point where I didn't even enjoy real estate. I didn't even enjoy what I was doing it. I was doing it for all the wrong reasons. Like that was 2020. And I learned some valuable lessons there. And I'm so grateful that as I've been in this slump for the last few weeks, I've taken the time to do things for me, and for my relationship with Lizzie and my family and my friends. I've spent a lot of time away this summer, on multiple bachelor parties, my wedding, trips, little mini honeymoons, with friends, family, and it's been amazing. And so when I find myself in this slump, I just know that it's temporary. But I always come back to my principles. What have I promised to myself that I want to accomplish? And what are those actionable steps that I can take every single day to ensure that I'm doing that? So inevitably the slump ends. And when it does end, it's not like I was not doing anything and I was waiting for motivation to come back. No, by taking action on a regular basis, even if it's not a lot, but by taking action, I can start to build that momentum by seeing different results, by feeling better. And I think that pulls you out of your slump. And so, being in a slump is normal. We see it in sports. We see it in life. But it's the work that we get to do in ourselves and in our life that inevitably allows us to have these dreams. And, last night, because I'm leaving today for Jackson Hole and my parents are leaving on Saturday to go to Italy because one of my dad's dreams was to get his dual citizenship as in Italy. And so they're heading over there for 45 days to get to work on getting their dual citizenship. And you want to talk about somebody that at 72 years old, they continue to dream. And I'm so grateful that I've had a upbringing and parents that have continued to, provide a framework that allows me to dream. And not only just like dream, but dream really big. Like, they're 72 years old. My mom retired a few years ago. My dad could easily retire if he wanted to. But they push, and they push for their dreams because it makes them happy. And I think all too often in life, when we see people give up on their dreams or we see people stop to living, they start to die. And that's when they're no longer happy with the life they live. And that's when things tend to start to turn for the worse. And so, having somebody in pursuit of their dreams at 72 and watching my dad put all this work in for the last 3 years to try to get his dual citizenship, it's so cool to watch. And it's cool on so many levels. Like my mom is into it, right? They're talking about, the dinners they're going to have in Italy and the wine they're going to drink and the different places they're going to visit. My dad's been taking Italian lessons for 4 years in preparation for this meeting with the Italian government. And, it's cool to watch. And, one of the things that Lizzie and I do on a regular basis is we create a vision board. I mean, the reason we are in this new house is 3 years ago, we put a picture of a workshop home up on our vision board. And we didn't know when that was going to be accomplished, but we are in it today. And I am so grateful that I have a wife and a partner that wants to dream big just like me. And she may think I'm fucking crazy sometimes with the dreams that we have, but she goes for it. And watching my parents do it just solidifies that I am doing the right thing in my life, and just solidifies that, I have the right person in my life to follow with me. And, for all of you out there that, don't know how to dream, I had a coach tell me one time to go smell the leather. And what he meant by that is, if you have a house that you want, or a car that you really want, or an outfit that you really want to buy, go test it out. Go walk through that home. Go test drive that car. Go put that outfit on and smell the leather. Get close to it. Feel it. Know what that dream feels like. And I think when you can do that, inevitably it becomes a reality. So the pursuit of your dreams, I think the bigger your dreams, the better. And if they don't scare you, I feel like you should dream a little bit bigger, because they should scare you a little bit. So normal transition here out of that, after all that positive dream talk, is something I've been kind of toying around with over the last few weeks is coaching. So I had a gnarly breakup in 2015, just like we all get our heart broken at some point in our lives. But it coincided with me realizing I had PTSD from my deployment. And what that led me to was going to seek therapy, which I think is an absolute game changer in life when you can start to talk to a professional and kind of work through some of your past and work through what you're going through. They can ask you questions, give you different perspectives. But I started this in 2015 by going to a therapist, and I started to layer different things onto that. Well, whether that be journaling and meditation, but really kind of spending time on myself. But what I've seen recently is that, as we grow, we can outgrow our coaches. And, when I started CrossFit back in 2010, I was getting a lot of coaching, right? Because I moved like shit. I probably looked like I was about to kill myself. And all these coaches would come up to me and give me some different cues. Well, as I progressed through CrossFit, through the ranks of CrossFit, if you will, by, getting better in the gym and then competing and then becoming a coach and then coaching for years and then getting out of coaching and just being a regular, member of a gym at CrossFit Golden, is I've noticed that I don't get a lot of coaching. And that is not to say that I'm not around great coaches, but I think sometimes when we have a skill set and those coaching cues are so minute, we have to go out and search for the right level of coaching. And I know for a fact that any of the coaches at CrossFit Golden could pick me apart, right? I don't move perfectly. I've never claimed to move perfectly. And I know that if I asked them, they would hop in. But I think sometimes we have to seek it out. I think sometimes we have to be vulnerable enough to ask for coaching. And so, back in January of this year, I was struggling with my business. I was kind of struggling with the direction of my life, with my social media, and just kind of everything. It was this huge growth pattern from 2015 to like 2020, and then it was not even 2020, 2019, and then it just like almost stopped. And the stagnation drove me crazy. And what I realized that there was patterns in my life, this strong structure I had in my life that was no longer serving me. And so I am so grateful that I was able to find a coach in Coach Tim Adams. And you should go follow him. He's going to be doing, and he is doing, some amazing things. But he has opened up my eyes to so many things. And what I love about him is that he always forces me to go deeper. I think there's times in our lives where we do some self-exploration and we may get to a door that's inside of us. And that door may be something from the past, or that door may be something that we're afraid to face. And we have two options. We can either open that door, or we can just stand in front of that door. And sometimes I think we stand in front of that door because we're not ready. In fact, I know for a fact that I've stood at the door multiple times of the same issue and refused to either knock to see if somebody would let me in or open that door to pursue it because I'm scared. And maybe it's not the right time, maybe it's not the right environment, but I know that by seeking out coaches, by understanding that letting yourself know that you don't know everything and that you want to become better. I think when we can seek out that level of coaching and when we can find somebody that can align with us and help us grow, it's super, super powerful. And so, that's kind of one of the reasons I wanted to continue to document my story is I want to share my lessons. I want to share my experiences. I want to share what I'm going through because I know I'm not the fucking only one. I know that I'm not the only one who has these struggles, who has these successes. And if I can help one person, if I can just provide perspective based on my life and my experiences, then I know I've done a good job. And so that's why for the longest time, you saw this blend, and you'll continue to see this blend of, personal growth and real estate, because I think they coincide really well together. I think, as you start to understand yourself, you can start to grow. And as you start to understand what you want in a home, you can start to figure out what the path is you want to go. And as you start to understand yourself, you can start to create goals and dreams and pursue those, right? Like you have to know who you are and what you want in order to pursue those. And I think it's really cool when we can have a coach kind of guide us in that direction and maybe challenge us. And so if you don't have a coach, right, you can hire one if you want. You can follow me, or you can follow plenty of people that are influencers out there. Just make sure they're not bullshitting you, right? That they're not trying to sell you something, right? Not saying that their programs aren't worthwhile, but make sure that it's worthwhile before you hop in. And I think, the last thing, we'll kind of wrap this up, is, real estate is there's a level of coaching here, right? And my experience in coaching at CrossFit, my experience in being a leader and an officer in the military has allowed me to coach people in different levels. And inevitably, when I work with a new home buyer or a home seller or an investor, my responsibility is to provide a level of education. I'm not here to make decisions for you. I'm here to make sure that I can gather enough information and provide it to you so that you can make the educated decision by having enough clarity, right? I have a process, right? And I can control that process both on the buy side, the sell side, as they come together and as an investment. I have the process. You'll always have transparency into that. But I believe my job is to coach and is to educate you through that process, because a lot of people believe that, realtors, and I'm sure they do this, but a lot of people believe that realtors are, forcing people to buy homes or jacking up the prices on homes. And the truth is, my responsibility is to give you, like I said, give you the information about the market, about the neighborhood, about the home, explore your different financing options, understand what your goals and dreams are because you've done the work and you know what you want to do. Maybe that's building a rental portfolio or owning your first home before you're 30, whatever it is. But when we can understand that, I can kind of, create a tailored plan and a coaching structure for you as we navigate that. Because one of the biggest things that always comes up, especially when I'm working with couples, is what they want in a home, right? 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, a loft, an attached garage, a yard, an open concept kitchen, whatever the fuck you want in your home is important. But for me, you guys are going to disagree. I know that. So for me, I have to get you guys to understand that you're probably on the same page on a lot of things. So what does that look like? I need to understand why you want it. And so that's what we do in a buyer's consultation. And that's what we also do in a seller's consultation. Because for one of you, you may, if you're selling your home, maybe you want the most money and the other one just be like, hey, I just want there to be no hassle. And we have to figure out what that looks like. We have to understand that, if you guys disagree on what you want when it comes time to sell, or if you disagree on different aspects of what you want in your next home, my job is to understand why you want it, because I know for a fact, based on my experience with working with buyers, that you guys probably agree on more than you don't. So just know that, the coaching and the leadership that I've had in my life, I truly believe it's become one of my superpowers in this industry, because I can listen and I can understand, and I want to spend time with you and understand where you are and what you want so that we can create a plan for you. Well, that's the end of this this week's podcast. I do want to say, I'm enjoying this, right? It's kind of weird sitting here talking on a mic by yourself. I got this fucking mic sitting in front of me. I know I swear from time to time, and whatever, who cares? But I think what got me to do this is I have a really good friend that we reunited a long time ago. We were friends for the longest time. Julie Bauer, she runs Paleo OMG, and she's so kind. We had a falling out, and 5 years after that falling out, I decided to pick up the phone and give her a call. And luckily for me, she picked up. And we decided to get together and kind of just hash it out. And I'm so grateful that we did that. But she motivated me to kind of get back on this and do it, because she has her podcast. And if you want to laugh, if you like food and you like fitness, and you just want somebody who's fucking real, go check out her podcast. I mean, she doesn't need a plug. She's got plenty of followers. So all of you who may or may not listen to this, it's not like we're going to have a huge bump in audience traffic for her, but she's one of my, even though we're starting over, I still consider her one of my closest friends. She knows me really well, even though we've been apart for 5 years, but I'm so grateful that she motivated me to do this. So go check out her podcast. Continue to tune into this podcast. I'm glad I got this done on a Thursday. That way I can enjoy this weekend celebrating my buddy Ryan Kenny up in Jackson Hole. We're going to be riding horses. We're going to be riding UTVs. I'll do my best not to roll it. Probably going to roll it. And then we're just going to party a little bit. So thanks for tuning in to the second relaunch of my new podcast. If you have any questions, or if you want me to talk about anything, please, send me a message on Instagram at Showdio, SHOWDIO. Looking forward to hearing from you guys. And until next week, take care.